It's Thursday. You know what that means. It's time for Title Talk with your host, Drew Wishover, entrepreneur, published author, and owner of Inspired Title Group, along with his co-host and director of operations, Amy Maley. Each week, the team will offer industry terminology, tips and strategies, along with the occasional real estate professional to help educate as it pertains to buying, selling, or just plain old home ownership. We thank you for spending time with us today. Now, let's join this episode of Title Talk. Hello, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Woo, it's loud out there today. Hey, I just wanted to welcome you guys here today for another installment of Title Talk. My name is Drew.
And my name is Amy.
We are here with a very special guest, and we are excited to have him share some of the great things that he's doing in the real estate market, in the industry, and comes from a very cool background with a lot of different things going on, and I'm just anxious and excited to jump right in and start talking to Trey LeClure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Drew.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, so I grew up in Naperville from the age of 12. I started playing soccer when I was 6 years old. Got involved in cycling, raced bicycles in college and just beyond college. I graduated from the University of Illinois. My degree's in civil engineering, but I never worked in civil engineering, actually.
Not one day in civil engineering.
One day. No.
When he's retired, maybe I'll go into civil engineering.
Yeah. But I actually got a job with Anderson Consulting right out of school, so I did software development.
Okay.
And I worked for several different consulting companies and then worked for a couple different companies full time. So I did software development for about 20 years. And then in the meantime, I also coached soccer when my son, who's now 20 years old, was in kindergarten. I started coaching his soccer team. Got licensed to coach in 2010. I coached for about 8 years club soccer. I started refereeing in 2012. I started referee assigning in 2014. I have my side business assigning soccer referees.
Okay. All right.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
2017, I decided to leave the company I'd been at for 5 years, went to another company, realized within about 2 weeks that was a really bad move, and I was only there for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Was playing golf with my mortgage banker at the time in August of 2017. He heard me on the phone with soccer referees and said, you should come do mortgages with me. So
I see the correlation.
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah. So I looked into what it would take to get licensed. I did the classes, got licensed, and then ended up working at his company for about 3 months, and that's when the interest rates kind of went up.
Yep.
And got a little spooked. Went back to the company I'd been at for 5 years and went back to software development. So I did that for about 2.5 years. Luckily, I met a friend that is in the business that said, you should take your license to Parlay Mortgage because Jason Zimmer likes to have part-time people, and he'll help you out and get you going. So I hung my license there in 2018 November, and did a few loans in 2019 and 2020. I did about $2 million, and then I did about $8 million last year, and been full time. Been full time since March of 2021.
Nice.
And I do a lot of, I joined a group called the Legion of Loan Officers in August of 2020, and have learned a lot about lead generation and how to help realtors get up in social media and collect leads and actually market to those leads. So I do some classes for realtors to show them how they can do better on social media.
Yeah. That's that. I mean.
Well, I don't think I've got anything else to ask. Right?
Yeah, right.
I think you laid it all right
Thanks
there.
for joining us, everybody.
Have a great day.
Yeah, that's pretty encompassing.
Yeah.
That really doesn't leave a lot, but I'm sure Amy's got a question or two.
So I think I want to touch on this lead generation, because I think that's something that we've never had on the show before. We've been doing Title Talk for 3+ years now, right? And that's something that we've never had someone be able to talk to us about. So like, what is, for realtors, lead generation versus everything, I guess? Kind of maybe elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so in 2019 is when in December of 2019, I kind of started looking into, while I was still a software developer.
Is that right before COVID?
Yeah, that was.
That was like a couple months before COVID, right?
Before COVID,
okay, sorry, go ahead.
I started looking into how I could market to people that were wanting to buy a home and how I could get them into my system to talk to them. And there were all these companies out there that offered leads for X dollars. And
Right.
I looked at 2 or 3 of them. One of them wanted $3,500 a month with a 3-month contract, and at the time I just couldn't afford to spend that.
Yeah,
That's a big
sure.
chunk of money to be able to lay down right
For
there.
someone that's just getting started,
right.
it's not chump change. So I looked into these 2 or 3 companies, and it turns out that they're all using the same CRM on the back end, and basically they're using Facebook or Google or YouTube to run ads and then collect those leads. So there's various ways to do it, and
Yeah.
there's different technology that's involved, but I quickly realized they were all using the same CRM. I decided to use one of those companies that was the cheapest, used them for 3 or 4 months to get a couple hundred leads,
Yeah.
and actually kind of felt like I knew more about the CRM because I'm a technical guy
Right.
than they
You sound
actually
like it.
did. So I was
Your brain leads to technical guy. Yeah.
I was kind of teaching them how to do things in the CRM and automate processes.
Okay.
And so the only part I didn't really know how to do at the time was the Facebook advertisements,
Yeah.
and Google ads and stuff like that. So that's when I joined. I found the Legion of Loan Officers. I had seen Nick Carpenter, Legion of Loan Officers, back when I first started in the business, but at the time it was the same problem. I didn't want to drop a big chunk of money to join a group like that. So I wish I would have done it in 2017, but I didn't. And then in 2020, I did decide to join, and his boot camp is awesome. Teaches you a lot about marketing and how to get in front of realtors and how to help realtors so that they'll want to give you business and help, give someone something and they're going to want to give back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot from the Legion and run my own Facebook ads to collect leads. They go into my CRM, and then they're nurtured through the CRM through text messages, voicemails, and emails and that kind of stuff. But back to your original question.
Which was what?
Yeah. What did I ask you?
I think you asked about YouTube. So I did a class here recently for a group of realtors
Yes.
at Inspired Title, and it was the specific topic was how to get your YouTube video ranked on Google. I think it was a little more generic than that, but the premise of it is we take a YouTube video and within minutes we can get it ranked in Google. We don't actually present it that way. It's going to take 24 hours for it to get ranked, but in reality, usually when people are walking out of the class, they're Googling their specific keywords and it comes up right away.
Right.
Was that cool?
Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah, that's one of the things that I learned through Legion of Loan
That's neat.
Officers.
It's
and-
really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is this
Okay.
something that
Where's he going
it's
now?
a service that you can provide for the professionals in the real estate industry? Like they can actually contact you and say, hey, Trey, I want to get more exposure for my blah. I do a podcast or I do a whatever. You can work closely with them to make something like that happen.
Yeah, for sure. There's different classes that we do. They're normally geared towards realtors, but we
Okay.
could also
Okay.
have people from other walks of life. That we have some attorneys that come in. And,
Okay.
definitely can help them get more exposure on social media and on the internet in general. SEO for their website is what's going to ultimately get them up in the ranks
Right.
for Google. So
Nice. What drew you to this versus, I don't know, your degree? I mean, how do you go from how does that work?
yeah, so coming out of high school, I really had no idea what I wanted to do, and I actually only applied to 3 different schools. One of them was in the South, and I didn't get accepted because
Okay.
I had lived in the South for 6 years of my life and thought I wanted to go back down. Didn't get accepted there. Got accepted to Northern Illinois and Illinois State.
Okay.
Probably would have not gotten accepted to U of I at the time if I had applied. I went to Illinois State, went to the orientation. Parents pushed me towards pre-engineering, and I was always a math and science guy.
Yeah.
So,
So it made perfect sense at the
yeah,
time. Yeah.
So 3 years at Illinois State, and then transferred to U of I, and
Okay.
then 2 years got my degree in engineering, and then having
and then
done
decided
that,
after doing 5 years
Yeah.
of it that you didn't want to do it anymore.
yeah, I just it was kind of just a forced education kind of thing, and
Yeah.
I just decided that at the time, in civil engineering is what I graduated in, and I just didn't want to build roads and bridges, and so
Right.
And to be honest, how many people actually go into what they have a degree in?
Not a lot.
It's so weird, like the juxtaposition of that. I went to school to be a history teacher,
Yeah.
and here I am
Right.
Nobody.
with you guys.
Yeah. Like they say, nobody actually goes to school to do mortgages. It's not.
No.
For sure.
No,
And
that's
no one
for
goes to
sure.
school to do title. So
Yeah.
I feel where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
No, that is for sure. Does just touching a little bit on the parlay mortgage piece, part of what we this month we're talking about home ownership and a little bit more about how exciting that is for people and what that looks like, and obviously we all know how dynamically this has changed over the last handful of months, but people are always looking for houses. People are always going to be buying and selling homes. It's just part of the American way, and so the people are just really honing in on the interest rates and what all that is, and I get it, but if you could just talk to that just for a brief little bit. The market does this, right?
Right.
It's got its ebbs and flows, and at the end of the day, whether you buy a house at 4% or you buy a house at 7%, you're buying a house, and that's the American dream. And it, the interest rate is just kind of a factor in what that is. That will maybe change in a period of time where you can refinance that.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen a drastic change in what you do?
Well, certainly there's not any refinances right now because
Sure.
the rates are going up. Some people may need to refinance for various reasons. We could go into that later, but when I bought my first house in the early 2000s, my interest rate was 7 3/4. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I got the willies thinking about that.
it's just a matter of what your buying power is,
Yeah.
and how much you can actually afford in a monthly payment. So
Right.
we can get you into the right monthly payment, the right house. It's just the interest rates are what they are.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go up and down, like you said.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
hopefully in the next 18 months they'll go back down, and we'll be able to refinance people into a better rate, and they'll have
Yeah.
a better payment.
Right. Is that so? Are you primarily doing the mortgage, the lending business, or are you kind of transitioning into doing some more of the helping of the realtors and things?
Yeah, so it's a little both. Definitely, primarily mortgages
Okay.
is my main business right now. I do have a side business doing soccer referee signing, and I have a side business doing marketing. So
Do you sleep?
no,
No.
it's pretty busy. It's a pretty busy 2 months in the spring and 2 months in the fall for referees.
I can imagine.
But the marketing business that I'm putting together is also going to be in full swing soon, and
Okay.
it's going to allow any small businesses, doesn't necessarily have to be in the real estate
Right.
realm, to market to potential clients, get those potential clients in, and nurture them so that they
Yeah.
become clients.
That's it's interesting because as a title company, we do a similar thing that it sounds like that you're doing. You kind of bob and weave with what the market's doing.
Right.
So we worked through that crash in 6, 7, and 8.
You did.
And
Some of us
I
were too
did.
young
Yeah,
for
you were
that.
like 4. We worked through that crash period, and we went, okay, there's not going to be a lot of buys and sells. There are really no refinances. So we really pushed the business, and I drove the business into doing the foreclosure and short sale work, and that was our survival. We hung on to doing that, and that was an amazing period of time. It was awful from the standpoint of what was
The
actually
reality.
going on,
Yeah.
right, and the sadness of people losing their homes and things, but it's moving with the trend and glomming on, and we learned that, and now when this kind of forbearance thing comes through, and there's going to be probably another touch on what happens in that short sale piece, we're versed in it, and you're taking an opportunity with going, all right, well, the mortgage rates are kind of going a little bit higher. I'm going to kind of sidestep this over here, but I still have this, and kind of and go into that. It's kind of
people
interesting.
are still buying houses. That's never going to stop.
Right.
There's
right.
people that are renting that can definitely still be in a better position if they're buying a house,
Right.
Because they're
Yeah.
going to build equity buying a house, and
100%.
the rates are not extremely high right now. They're still below what I bought my house at.
That's so crazy.
Is that
Were
your
gas
threshold?
prices $5.98 when you bought your house?
Yeah.
So,
We have 2 questions. The first one is, do you serve more states than just Illinois?
Awesome.
Yes, I do. I'm licensed in Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, and Florida, and my company is also licensed in Colorado and Michigan.
Awesome. So if you guys need a mortgage and you're looking to refinance, buy, sell, whatever, Trey can certainly, help you out and get
The
you
information's
kind of
over
set up
there.
in those other states there. His contact information is above. Question 2.
Does your company offer 40-year mortgages? Is there a benefit to a 40-year mortgage?
We do not yet offer 40-year mortgages. I've heard that they're on the horizon.
Yeah.
That's
That's a long.
I know who
long-
that question's from too, but
That's-
that's a scary question. A 40-year mortgage. I mean, the concept of just a 30 is going. Let's tie it up. It's like buying that car. Going, I'll take the 7-year. I want
It's
84
crazy.
monthly payments. That car in 7 years is going to be just garbage,
Yeah.
more than likely.
Well, some people don't have a choice. So don't be all huffy puffy over there
All right, I'll be
about
over here
7
sitting
versus
quiet.
40.
Go ahead, Aim. Go ahead.
With what?
I don't know. Wherever you're going.
Shutting you
Yeah,
down?
good.
So 40-year mortgage. You're thinking about it at some point. Your company is.
I don't even know if our company is thinking about
Yeah.
that, but I just know that in the market in general, that 40-year mortgages have been talked about.
Have they?
I think most clients are typically looking to try to reduce the amount of time that
For
they have
sure.
a mortgage.
Yeah.
You're going to get a better interest rate if you take a shorter period of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Usually people are looking at a 30, a 20, or a 15.
Right.
We can do a mortgage on any length of time that you want
Okay.
in between that range, but 30
Can
years
you?
right now. Yeah.
I didn't know. So
Yeah,
you
so
could do a
some people-
20-year.
Yeah, we could do a 21-year and 3-month mortgage if we wanted to.
Wow.
That's I did not
Yeah,
know
it's just
there
an
was an option.
amortization. It's just figuring out what that amortization
I know, but
is,
it's just
figuring that out,
weird
yeah.
because I was lucky enough that when we bought our first house, I was able to do a 15-year, and
Right.
with the 30-year versus 15-year, I think we're paying probably $112 more a month than we would have for the 30 because of the interest and stuff. So, but 40 years, it's a long time to.
Yeah.
mortgage
Yeah, so
for.
some people don't realize that, and when we talk about refinancing someone, they balk at refinancing because they think, well, I've paid down, I've only got 23 years left on my mortgage.
Right. I don't
But
wanna
we don't
start.
have to refinance you back to a 30. We can put you at 23 years, or we can take you down to 20, whichever.
Keep that in mind. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's
Totally.
super cool.
No,
That's
totally. And we've heard through just kind of our clients and some of the customers that we've been servicing that the arms are becoming something that's a little bit more attractive again. You're starting to see the 7-year, the 10-year arms, and they're offering a more attractive rates because again it's shorter term, and but realize that you got to do something after that period of 7 years or 10
Right.
years. It's due. So you're either going to refinance it. You're really betting at that point, right? You're betting the come line that in 7 years something is going to happen, and hopefully it's going to err on your side,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Do you guys offer the arms?
Yeah, we do offer arms. We
Okay.
have a 3, 5, 7, 10.
Yeah. So this is what is great is there are so many products out there, and there's so many options that I think people need to just do their due diligence and ask the questions. And I don't think they know all the questions, and that's what we're trying to do here is help them kind of point to some of those questions of the do's and don'ts and what's available to them out there because. There's not a lot of folks who are really transparent to say, hey, we can help you with this or we can help you with that, and it sounds like that's something that you guys do. Where's Parlay Mortgage located?
Parlay Mortgage is located in Lockport.
Nice. So it's a South Side lending institution, and if you guys need to get a hold of Trey, his phone number is right there. You can call and/or text him there. If you have any kind of mortgage questions, if you guys want to get in on a question here today, you can certainly throw it in the chat, and we will get that thing live to you, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. That's pretty great too. Amy, you got some more questions?
What are your thoughts on networking? I feel like you're a guy that's constantly out there, and I feel like people kind of shy away from it because if I share leads with you, then what if they don't become my leads? And I think that's another weird time that we're going through. Can you just talk a little bit about
Yeah, I
you
think-
and networking and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Networking has definitely helped my business a lot,
Yeah.
and it's definitely a good thing for any professional to do in any profession.
Yes.
I've gone to networking events at 7:30 in the morning at the Aurora Public Library. We have a networking lunch in Bolingbrook on Wednesdays where we meet at the Bolingbrook Golf Club for lunch.
Good food there too. I went to one.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I went to a networking meeting this morning in Oak Brook. There's different types of networking groups. There's anything from BNI to LaTip is the one I went to this morning, where you pay money to belong in these. Our networking group on Wednesdays is just an independent networking group that
Yeah.
we don't charge anything for. We have some social events that we do to interact
That's
and
really
whatnot.
cool. Yeah.
I would say anyone's fear of losing a client because they offer them up to someone else is probably not correct, because anyone that you give a lead to is definitely going to remember that you
Yeah.
gave it to them and pat you back on the back for sure.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, keep networking. There's enough business to go around for everybody, and the more people you know, the better off everybody is, I think.
Have you seen an ROI on that? Are you able to kind of measure that networking to kind of a return from that as far as business?
I mean, numbers wise, I can't really give a number. I
Yeah.
haven't kept track of that, but I
Yeah.
definitely know that I've referred business to people like insurance, and there's an attorney that I work with,
Nice.
and I know I've brought at least one deal here to Inspired for a client that's closing in Indiana, and I definitely have received as well. So
Yeah.
That's
they
great.
say if you give, you're going to get back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I definitely have given a lot of leads to people that I network with, and I have definitely received back enough to,
Cover that.
to
Yeah,
cover
for sure.
everything.
I really respect that, and that certainly kind of aligns with, what we do here at Inspired is just kind of giving back to community and charities and things, and I'm telling you, that pays dividends that you just can't measure. But along that same token is working with people that are aligned like you, that we can share contacts with, and it's good to know that when somebody asks you a question, you have a resource to maybe direct them to that can help them out. And it's not about that return. It's not about what we get from that. It's about helping that individual, and that in itself just feels, feels good
for sure.
and works out well. So we're going to kind of try to wrap this thing up here, and I know Amy has her favorite question. Do you want to ask the horror story question? That's one of your favorite
I mean,
questions.
working in
You know.
mortgages with 7%. I'm just kidding. Do you have one horror story that peaks in your mind, whether it be the worst slide
Well-
tackle in soccer you ever saw? Or,
And it could
you
really
could go
take
any precedent of this
Yeah.
right now.
Saw a kid break his leg. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
like to the
I mean, I
face.
don't know if this is. I didn't. I haven't really given this a lot of thought before
Sorry.
this, but I do have a decent story. It's not really necessarily a horror story, but I can tell you that I did help. So I started with Parlay Mortgage in 2018, and probably from 2018 to 2020, I think I went into the office twice.
Wow.
One time was when I met with Jason Zimmer to interview and then got the job, and then the second time was a year later when I just went in to,
Get some free coffee.
make sure everything was good. So I typically work from my home.
Yeah.
But I got a client about 9 months ago or so that is 77 years old,
Okay.
and she wasn't very up on technology. So I went into the office a handful of times over the month period that I helped her refinance, and she needed a lot of help. She had a very high amount of credit card bills, but she had some equity in her house. So we were able to basically consolidate about $3,000 worth of payments into her $1,300 mortgage. So
Great.
definitely helped her out.
Well, that's a superhero story.
Yeah.
That's not.
Those are good.
I mean,
No, it is great. It is really awesome. It's very cool.
yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that don't understand. They may have a 3% interest rate on their mortgage,
Yeah.
but if they've got a lot of debt in other places at high interest rates, it really doesn't make sense. And
For sure.
even though the rates right now are in the high fives, low sixes, wherever they are today, it still makes sense for them to look at possibly consolidating.
Absolutely.
So they're
So
not paying
true.
like 25% on a credit card.
Right.
It's so true, and it's not necessarily about what the interest rate is to the home right now. It's what is the overall financial state of your portfolio. And like Trey alluded to, if you've got credit card debt that's 19-20%, refinancing or consolidating that to something that's 5 and 6, you're way ahead of the game.
Absolutely.
And does it make sense to give up your 3 or 4% interest rate to do that? Well, that's a conversation to look at the numbers and really just see, and that's what these folks will do for you. I mean, all the loan officers, that's their job, is they're going to crunch numbers and present to you your options, and if those options make sense, then it becomes your decision to do. But I think to what he said, interest rates on credit cards and car payments and
I mean, they're crazy. So if you have the opportunity to consolidate and just put it into a lump and get out from underneath some of that debt, as long as you have a financial plan to not, recreate that debt. And
Right.
that's where that guidance and education comes in. So, thank you so much for taking some time today and just being here and kind of sharing your story with everybody. Why don't you give the audience a plug of how they can get a hold of you and give them all your details and things as well.
Yes, I appreciate that. So I can be reached at my email address, TreyMcClure@ParlayMortgage.com, but you can also check out my personal website is TreyMcClure.com, or my lending personal website is BestLenderInTown.com.
Ah, yes.
Clever. That
Yes.
wasn't taken?
No,
Yes.
no.
Wow, nice.
That's incredible. You guys missed. Trey got it.
What was the
That's-
second website?
So it's TreyMcClure.com.
No spaces, right?
No spaces.
Okay.
And BestLenderInTown.com.
Perfect.
And my phone number is very easy to remember because it's 630-708-TREY, Trey.
Man, you are all about this stuff. I like it. I like it.
Look at that. Again, that comes with the whole networking and the whole getting it social media. So
Talk to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Look at that. That's right there, proving the point that he knows what he's talking about. So we thank you for, again, taking the time, and we've got some parting gifts as we like to do
Awesome.
For
as
you
well.
and for you. For your
And,
free
we
coffee
definitely
next time
look
at
forward
Parlay.
to doing more business with you in the near future and sharing some more time together and in networking and things. So thanks for taking the time today to come out on Title Talk and join myself and Amy. And you guys, if you need to get a hold of Trey, you got all his information. We're going to put it up there on the Facebook website. We'll put it on our Instagram, YouTube. We'll blow it all over the place, and as well as it'll be on LinkedIn at some point too. So recommend giving him a call to, see what you guys want to, he's got several facets of business where he can help you out, and hopefully you guys can reach out to him and utilize his services. So until next week, my name is Drew.
My name is Amy.
We are your Inspired Title team. We thank you guys for joining us. Have a great weekend, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there for this weekend. See you guys all next week. Take
Stay
care,
cool.
everybody.
Well, there you have it. That is it for this week's edition of Title Talk. Be sure to head over to our Inspired YouTube page and subscribe and like. And make sure you follow the team on Instagram and Facebook. Join us again next time for more tips and knowledge from the industry pros. Thanks again for listening.